Check out my Context for Kids Bible curriculum books. I have volumes on honor and shame, biblical covenants, ancient social relations, image-bearing, idolatry, and the new creation starting at ages 7 and up, all the way to books for late teens and adults. Each book contains 50 lessons on major Bible context topics. At Context for Kids, I take grown-up scholarly material and I slow it down. I never dumb it down. Available at Amazon.com.
Hi, I'm Tyler Dawn Rosenquist, and welcome to Context for Kids. And for the next couple months, we're going to be talking about Matthew chapter 23, which is one of the most context-rich chapters in the entire Bible anywhere, front to back, period. There is just so much context, and so we're going to be taking tiny little tidbits and we're going to be exploring them. Let's read this week about Moses' seat. What the heck is Moses' seat? Let's read what the scripture says first, and this is in Matthew 23. Then Jesus said to the crowds and to his disciples, "The scribes and the Pharisees sit on Moses' seat. So do and observe whatever they tell you, but not the works they do, for they preach, but do not practice. They tie up heavy burdens, hard to bear, and lay them on people's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to move them with their finger." That is from the English Standard Version. And I'm going to show you a picture now, and my question is, and everyone's question is this a seat? Or a bema, maybe? And we'll talk about what a bema is later, because you know what a seat is, right? You're probably sitting on one right now. Well, a lot of people have a lot of theories, and whatever it is, it comes from the synagogue in Chorazin in the Galilee, and it sure does look like one fancy chair. Absolutely it does. It's made of basalt, and the Aramaic inscription on the front says, "Remembered be for good Judah ben Ishmael, who made this stoa and its staircase. As his reward may he have his share with the righteous." So, doesn't have Moses' name on it. Doesn't even have Moses' picture on it. Well, of course, they wouldn't have done that. We'll talk about that some other time. And there's nothing in any literature anywhere telling us what the seat of Moses was, or even what it looks like, or if it looked like anything at all. This might have been a bema, which is the place where you would put the Torah scroll for reading. Do you remember the part in the scriptures about when Yeshua went up to the front of the synagogue and he read from the scroll of Isaiah? Well, they would have laid it out on the bema. It kept it clean. It kept it, it was a nice, safe place to put very valuable Torah scrolls or prophet scrolls or whatever scrolls they were reading from. We just don't know for sure what this is, and it doesn't matter. It's very cool. So, what then is the seat of Moses? Well, it could be a lot of things. It could be an actual chair, like the one in the picture, if that was a chair. Maybe the head of the synagogue sat in it. But synagogues weren't exactly the same in Yeshua's day as they are now. And most of our knowledge about the synagogues in the first century actually comes from the Gospels. The Gospels were written by Jews who didn't need an explanation about all this stuff because they were living that life, right? And they probably never imagined that 2,000 years later there'd be a bunch of completely ignorant people reading the Bible and going, "I don't know what that is." It could also be an idiom, and if you've read, I think I did this in Context for Kids Volume 1, Honor and Shame of the Bible. An idiom is a saying, it's an expression that doesn't, it's like when pigs fly. Well, everybody knows pigs aren't going to fly, right? I hope not. That could be messy. Anyway, it could be an idiom, a saying for the authority of the Pharisees among the people of the land who were called the Am Haaretz. Josephus says that the Pharisees were very popular with the people and the people followed their ruling. So maybe it was an authority, and Yeshua's telling them here, go ahead and do what they tell you to do. But is it a problem that we don't know for sure? Not really. It's nice to know stuff, but it doesn't really make a difference whether the Pharisees and the scribes were sitting in an actual seat or just had authority to tell the people how to keep the commandments in the community. You know, Yeshua wasn't requiring us to know what it meant. He doesn't require us to know what the seat of Moses is. What's important is that he was teaching us the importance of having compassionate leaders who help us and not just load us down with requirements that they may not even be keeping themselves in their hearts, okay? God's laws teach us how to love God and one another. But if someone's being crushed under the weight of a commandment needlessly, or under the weight of an interpretation of a commandment, let me put it that way, because some interpretations are we'll be covering that in future weeks. Some of them were really not good. But if someone's being crushed, we might want to rethink our interpretation. As always, you're going to listen to your mom and dad, and when they teach you about the commandments, and just like you will want your kids to listen to you. Now, if you want more information on Moses' seat or on the other things in the section of scripture that I just read to you, check out my teaching, episode 12, The 7 Woes, part 2, Moses' seat, long tassels, and social status, either on my YouTube channel, Tyler Dawn Rosenquist, or you can download it on my Podbean channel, characterandcontext.podbean.com. And I'll see you again next week. As always, I love you, I'm praying for you, and I hope you have a wonderful week studying scripture together as a family.